Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're all really well. I was really pleased to see that some of you made it out to practice the other day. That's excellent to hear. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've got back to you and got a message over to you, but I have been very busy and having a wonderful time practicing. So I thought it would be a really nice opportunity now, because I've just bought a brand new camera, because I'm now very focused on doing some more videos and some more explanations, and this is the first time that I have got to have a good play with it, and I wanted to send you a message and a quick practice with you, if that's okay. So I thought we'd go through the building a ball exercise, which I know you've done with me before in the classes. But this time, as I'm doing it, I just wanted to explain a few new ideas and concepts and things that I've been working on. So let's just jump straight in. So I'd recommend doing this sat down. And we're just going to start breathing in and opening everything up, and breathing out and condensing the energy in between the palms. So just breathing in, opening, stretching out, opening up the joints, pushing the joints open. And as we release the breath and breathe out, we pull the joints open and we focus our mind in the center. So the most important thing here is actually bringing the mind outside of the body. We want to be focused in between the palms. And when we're doing this, we are switching on our spiritual sense gates. So similarly that we've got our sight and our hearing, taste, touch, smell, we also have spiritual sense gates. And so the feeling of touch, we're tuning into the spiritual sense gates of our touch, physical sense gate. And that allows us to start perceiving energy outside of the body. Now, something I've talked a lot about is the meaning of internal martial arts. And I've always said that internal martial arts means the inside of your body, and that's where we primarily focus. Well, actually, I have recently learned that that is not necessarily correct. Although all that stuff that we've talked about is very, very important, the term internal, especially when it comes to Qigong and working on the spiritual side of things, is actually referring to not inside the body, but inside consciousness. Essentially, the body is our consciousness. But it's not just our consciousness, it's the consciousness of the group that we're practicing with. If you're pushing hands with a partner, it's their consciousness as well as your consciousness, the merging of the two consciousnesses. So what we're doing when we're bringing our attention to the energy outside of the body is we're bringing our consciousness outside of the body, and we're allowing our consciousness to expand. So here, when we're breathing in and we're pulling the joints open, we want to also feel that our consciousness is expanding. We begin by expanding the energy, and we expand with that, and then we start sending our consciousness further. So we want to send our consciousness out as far as we can, essentially where it feels comfortable but also tangible. And then as we release our breath, we can allow our consciousness to condense back into the energy ball. So expanding our consciousness and condensing the consciousness into the energy ball. And then we want to take it one step further. What you might start noticing is that you get heat in the body or tingling in the hands. When we're doing that, that means that we're still very much focused on our body. And we want to move our attention away from the body and onto the consciousness. So the first step for doing that is to really start to surrender and release to the energy. And you want to allow the consciousness to take on the actual embodiment, if you like, of the energy. So you start to become the energy. And if you can really allow your consciousness to come outside and feel that energy and be the energy, after a little while you'll start to experience that you are the energy, and inside the energy there is a body. So you start to observe your body from the perspective of the energy. You start to expand the energy. So instead of just having it in between the palms, you can start to bring it around the body more. And just see what's tangible for yourself. It might be that you can just get it in this kind of area around your elbows, but ideally you want to incorporate and encapsulate your entire body in energy. So it's below the feet, it's behind you, it's above you, it's all around you, maybe even out to a couple of meters if you can. But it has to be tangible, so you're feeling that energy. And once you can feel and perceive that energy, then you start to become the energy. And from there, you start to switch between a body perceiving energy and the energy perceiving the body inside. And we start to use the law of contrast, and we can switch between the two and start to become as comfortable as you can with both of those. Of course, being the body, as we identify with ourselves, it's easier to perceive the energy. It's a little bit harder to be the energy and perceive the body. But with a little bit of practice, a couple of days of just practicing this regularly, you'll pick that up quite quickly. The next stage is that you want to then start releasing and dissolving the perception of the body within the energy. And it's not that the body completely disappears, it kind of feels like it empties out. So you start to feel like the body is completely empty. You've got this rough outline of the skin, but it's very hazy because it's just in the energy. And when you get that, you get this real feeling, almost like you're losing gravity, and you get this very floaty feeling. It's a very soft feeling. It's a very nice feeling. Then what we want to do is start to apply that to our Tai Chi form. So if you can go into this state, or as much in this state as you possibly can, you'll notice that when you are the energy, you allow the energy to move, and the body will just naturally float into that direction. So you allow the energy to sink down, and the body starts to fall and sink down. You allow the energy to rise up again, and you start to float in the energy. You allow the energy to expand, and the body starts to expand, and you bring the energy and condense it in, and the body starts to come in. And you start to get a very floating-like quality to the movement. This is what I'd like you to work on and aim on. Now I mentioned that I'm doing this sat down, and I recommend practicing sat down first. The reason that we want to do this, we're trying to dissolve our perception of body. If we're stood up, we have a proportion of our mind focused on balancing the body, and therefore the body is reacting to the mind signals to keep it balanced. Therefore it makes it much more difficult to actually release the body, because it's having to do some work. It's having to remain in the physical realm, and it can't just fully surrender to the energy. Whereas if you're sat down and sat nice and comfortably, and allowing your fascia to expand and extend and radiate, then your body can just completely soften, but you still stay energized. You don't want to just slump, you want your fascia to radiate out, and it's the fascia that just holds the body, and everything just feels like you're gel-like inside the fascia web. So practice this sat down, start to tune into the feeling of being the energy perceiving the body, switch between the body perceiving energy and the energy perceiving body several times, get as comfortable as you can with that, and then just go into being the energy and start to dissolve away as much of the sense of the physical body as you possibly can. Just keep dropping that away, dropping it away, dropping it away, observing yourself as energy. And you'll just notice that everything becomes light, everything becomes floaty, as if you're just kind of bobbing about in a nice swimming pool. So as you keep practicing, this is the focus that I'd like you to practice on. I'm looking forward to getting back to the UK early in November. I think I land on the 5th, if I've got that right, and I'll be heading straight down to the south. So I'm looking forward to getting the classes going again and seeing all of you. So for now, take care of yourselves and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.